Hello everyone, my name is Code Gorilla, and today I'm going to be running Crystalis Randomizer. Crystalis, or Godslayer as it is known in Japan, is an action RPG released by SNK in 1990 for the NES. It combines top-down Zelda-esque combat with RPG experience mechanics. While the vanilla game is fairly linear, the randomizer makes for a few world map tweaks and scales all of the enemies in the game based on your progress in the seed. The result is a much more open, non-linear, fast-paced experience. Today I'll be playing the 2023 Crystalis Randomizer Tournament flag set. These are fairly straightforward flags compared to the two other categories I have submitted, but they do contain the potential for a few spicy surprises. Two flags were newly added/updated for this tournament. The Charge Shots Only flag, which removes your sword's hitbox and forces you to fight everything with only charge shots, and the Oops All Mimics flag, that replaces every chest in the game, even ones dropped by bosses, with mimics, which must then be defeated to obtain the item within. Both of these flags were mystery flags for the tournament, i.e. flags that would be randomly turned on or off by the seed generator when the seed is rolled. However, for the sake of this submission video, I have guaranteed both will be on, so that I can demonstrate them. Also note that the tournament had the story mode goal flag, which determines if you need to actually collect all 4 swords and beat all the bosses to beat the game, set as a mystery flag. For the sake of having a more predictable estimate, I will have that flag always on, including for this video. Full disclosure, for the sake of recording the submission video, I am playing this on emulator. I have a new flashcard on order, which is all I am missing to run this on official hardware, but it did not arrive in time for submissions. For the actual event, I will be able to run on official hardware per GDQ's requirements. That little preamble out of the way, I can show here in the tracker a quick overview of what sort of flags we've got going on here. Again, comparing this to the other 2 submissions, I'm recording this one third. I just finished recording the other 2 submissions for this game. A little bit fewer glitches. We've got Fake Flight, we've got the statue glitch, and we've got the Mount Saber requirement skip, or rabbit skip as it's sometimes known. Notably, we don't have any of the randomized houses, randomized areas, or randomized maps. So the game is still laid out in the vanilla Crystalis way, and you can get around and know where you're going a lot easier and a lot faster. That means that these flag settings typically take around an hour to an hour and a half. As I mentioned, the big one that's on there is... the 2 big ones are Oops All Mimics and Charge Shots Only, both of which don't really affect the logic all that much, but have a big effect on how you actually perform combat in this game. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Get into this name selection screen. Name our character. The good old C.G. And with that, we can get started in a 3, a 2, a 1, a go. So yeah, we're walking out of the first shrine into the first town. The first town has 2 free items that you can just always pick up right away, so these are always your first couple stops. Paralysis is not a bad one, honestly. That'll help us. It's a good defensive tool early on before we have a weapon. I'm going to check out the shop here to see if there are medical herbs and warp boots. There are no warp boots, which is unfortunate because there is a easy way to warp back to the starting town that involves a button input combination to get back to the beginning of the game. But the trade-off there is that if you need to go somewhere else, you need to teleport there, and that means you need either the spell teleport, which could be buried basically anywhere, or you need warp boots. So it's usually nice to have warp boots available in the first town. Unfortunately, not this time. So we may have some, what the community calls walks of shame in our future. Alright, this is the Portola region. That entrance up there leads to Rage. Rage wants to see us have one specific sword that he's already determined what it is, and he won't tell us what it is until we have it, so there's no point in going there without any swords. Similarly, in that green cave I walked through, known as GBC Cave because it comes from the Game Boy Color version of the game, there are 2 chests, but because the Oops All Mimics flag is on, I know that those chests are both mimics, and therefore I cannot actually obtain the items within, so I didn't bother to go look at them. There's only one item I can actually get here, and it's by sneaking behind this guard, by holding down and left into him, and just advancing the dialogue box a bunch. I just need to go into that room to trigger the queen to change her dialogue and give me an item. This is a key. There's only one key that could possibly be, and that is the windmill key, so we're going to go turn that in. Occurs to me, I didn't think to check if there were warp boots for sale in Portella. Having spent my money on medical herbs, I wouldn't have been able to afford them anyways, but probably something that would have been useful to know. Alright, so we're going to walk through this cave over to the windmill, where we can throw the key into the keyhole from across the room. Part of the early routing in these seeds with Oops All Mimics on is figuring out what checks can you do that aren't mimics, because if you don't have a sword, you can't open any chests. So the NPC checks and freestanding checks become a lot more important. Alright, that bassoon is almost certainly... Oh, this guy wants to ruin my day. That bassoon has to be the... It doesn't have to be, but it's probably the alarm flute. It's 50-50 right now. It's either the alarm flute or it's the shell flute, because those are the only 2 things that make progress. The wall behind Zebu there was a wind wall. It will be something important to remember for later. So yeah, I opened up the sealed vampire cave, but there's no point in actually going in there, because I cannot get any of the items within. Again, I need any sword. Mimics in Oops All Mimics have been changed to be weak to all swords instead of just 2 of the 4 swords. Okay. Well, I guess we're doing that walk of shame thing that I mentioned, because this is an alarm flute. Or, sorry, this is not an alarm flute. So that means it's going to be the shell flute, because that's the only other thing that would actually open up other checks right now. So we have to walk through this cave again. Again, I could go down to go check the items, to go check the loot spot, or go check the wall. That's what I'm trying to say. Go check the wall that's in GBC Cave to see what sort of sword I need to break it. But it's a long walk to get there, and knowing that I can't actually do anything with the items in that cave means there's not really a point in doing so. Alright, so we're walking back here to Portoa. I'm gonna actually check to see... there's not warp boots here either, so... There was no option but to make that walk. Excuse me. Alright. Once you visit the queen once, she disappears and goes to become the fortune teller. But right now, we don't need to talk to the fortune teller. We need to use the shell flute to summon the dolphin and go get an item that is underwater here in the waterway. Carissa plant. Alright. Interesting. I thought I must have misread the hints from the fisherman, because that wouldn't even do... Oh, I see what they want me to do. Okay. I see what this seed wants me to do. So, let's talk about Fake Flight. because that is, right now, a required glitch to actually make progress in this seed. The way it works is if you get off the dolphin and jump at pretty much the same time, I don't know if it's actually frame perfect, but it's close to it, you can trick the game into thinking you have flight, and are using the flight spell to fly over the water. And doing so, you can cross the ocean. Normally there's these big waterfalls at the top that block you, but doing this lets you get past them. There we go. Kind of a tricky glitch. Getting it third try there is actually pretty good. But yeah, I can walk up here. I'm going to reset here to get back my MP, because until you have a sword, every reset and reload from a checkpoint will fully restore your MP. Since the game thought I had flight while flying across the ocean, it drained my MP like I had flight. And I need my MP to paralyze Kensu here, so that I can actually do this trade-in. And there's my first sword. Alright. I will go ahead and check to see if there are boots here, although there aren't. The odds that I can actually afford them are very low. Let's see if I can maybe sell something. I think it's worth spending a little time. Selling one pair of warp boots doesn't get me enough. Or selling one metal blurb doesn't get me enough, and I don't want to sell both, so I think we're just walking everywhere. So, I've worked back to the starting town. And we're going to make sure to defeat some enemies here. We want to make a point of getting some money so that the next time we are back there, we can buy warp boots. Or if we make it to another town that sells warp boots. Let's talk about the charge shots only flag. So, my sword does not have a hitbox. That is the effect of the charge shots only flag. However, to make up for it, they have allowed you the ability to walk while charging. Normally, in the vanilla game, you have to stand still to charge your weapon. Now, I also have the rabbit boots, and in the randomizer, normally the rabbit boots also let you charge while walking. In order to make them not completely irrelevant in this mode, now instead they give me double charging speed, which is how I'm charging so gosh dang quickly. I'm taking the time to kill these Medusas because they're pretty easy to kill typically, and they give good experience and money for their scaling level, which is nice. Okay, cool. I can break the walls here, which means I can get all the way through this cave and get to the Brynmire region, which sounds like a good next place to be. Alright. Let's just note real quick. I'm pretty sure Fisherman wanted the lamp. Alright. Here's the Oops All Mimics coming into play. I've activated the Mimic. I defeated the Mimic. And then it actually drops the item. I'll have to remember that there's still 2 items in the GBC cave that I can go get. I have not visited those yet. In addition to, there's still a wall there that I need to look at. Barrier. Barrier is a nice spell. It's funny, I didn't have that spell for my other 2 submission videos. And it's especially nice for the final boss, but it's just nice in general. Basically, it'll drain MP for as long as you have it active, but if you have it active, it will block all projectile attacks, pretty much. Which is pretty useful. Let's eat one of these medical herbs. With the Oops All Mimics flag, you do have to be a little careful, because the Mimic will drop the chest exactly where it dies. And if you kill a Mimic while it's in a wall, you're not getting that chest without resetting the room and respawning the Mimic. So, you have to be a little careful when you're fighting Mimics. Especially with charge shots, since that's what's gonna make them go through the walls. Alright. Get through Vampire Cave here. There's one more item off the side in this room, but I want to keep up on my levels and gold. Alright. Let's put on Paralysis and deal with these two. And the Mimic while we're at it. Oh. That's an actual chest now. Whoops. I thought it was a paralyzed Mimic. Turns out there's not a huge difference between a paralyzed Mimic and just an open chest. Alright, heal again for the boss here. This is normally the first boss of the game, not terribly difficult, but does have a tendency to telefrag you, which is obnoxious, and can cause you to take damage kind of out of nowhere. The bats that get summoned are actually the most dangerous part of the fight. They just kind of force you to keep moving all the time. See, there's the telefragging I was talking about. Okay, we're going to use our last medical herb. Again with the telefrags. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you. And yeah, even boss chests are now Mimics, so... Fruit of Power. That is a small MP restoring item. Not bad, but not fantastic. Alright. Let's pop into Brynmire here and resupply. I'm going to first start by going to the inn and just topping everything off. I'm going to pop over here to the pawn shop. I'm going to sell these MP restoring items right now while I don't have a ton of magic that is important. And I am going to hopefully use that money to... Still no warp boots. Well, I can at least buy some medical herbs. And Akahana, what do you want? You want a lamp. So I was wrong about... Alright, so... 1, 2, 3. 1... Click that one, not that one. 1, 2, 3. Maybe it was the love pendant. I think it was the love pendant. Got a hazmat suit. So hazmat suit is progress here. We'll go ahead and go use that. I take paralysis off because I value the ability to jump more. Ooh. Okay, Sacred Shield is a really good shield. I'm going to put it on for now. But it's also, at a low level, it's worth a lot of money. So it might be worth going and selling it. I'm walking down here, by the way, to check to see if there's a cave entrance here. The Game Boy Color cave opens up to 2 of 4 random places. And Cordell Plains, the Brynmire area here, is one of those possible places. But there was not an opening there, so I may still need to go check the other entrance of that cave. Right, I can't talk to anyone here without the telepathy spell, but I can finally get some warp boots. Which is good, because I'm going to need some in a moment here. Let's actually just use one more of these and buy another pair. Alright. Let's teleport to... Brynmire. And we're going to do the Stomp fight. So, normally the way the Stomp fight works is you go in and you're locked into battle and all you can do is stab. And you actually cannot playing normally, you cannot win the first 2 times you attempt to fight, and you have to try 3 times. If you're playing with charge shots only, you can't win at all by stabbing because your sword doesn't have a hitbox. But there is a cheaty way to win, and that is by using a pair of warp boots and teleporting to either Leaf, Sahara, or Amazonas. And I'm going to get rewarded with a Sword of Wind. And that'll just cause you to automatically win that fight and get the item from it. Sword of Wind is fantastic. Since we're down here in Leaf anyway, I suppose when I teleported to Bryn Mawr would have been the time to sell that Sacred Shield. I'll probably just end up keeping it instead. But let's get to the 2 items that are in here. Well, getting paralyzed is not ideal. There's basically... Alright, so I need to go get myself poisoned, because I basically cannot do anything while paralyzed. Thankfully, I have a number of medical herbs. And also, thankfully, one of the enemies that poisons are mimics, so I can just get myself bit. And now I'm on a clock, but the trick is basically that if you're paralyzed, it means you can't fire charge shots. And if you're in charge shots only, that means you can't fight. And in particular, that means you can't fight mimics, and therefore you can't open chests. So with this particular combination of flags, if you are paralyzed, you're basically useless. Basically cannot get anything done, unfortunately. Magic ring. Okay. So the 2 chests here were an actual mimic, which means it dropped money instead of an item, and a... I can go somewhere else. And a magic ring, so not much to write home about. But I can go somewhere else, and this is the Goa region. Alright, so what can I do here in Goa? Well, I can get this checkpoint. Honestly, the answer is not a lot. I can get 1 item off of Mount Hydra, which I'm going to go do. And I can get 1 item out of Oasis Cave, which I will also do. Alright, I can't fight these Flail Knights. I should put on Paralysis to deal with them. I should put my Rabbit Boots back on, because the double speed charges are very nice. Alright, that's just an actual mimic. You know what? This is a good spot to grind money off of mimics. So I'm gonna kill a couple of these. Mimics drop way more money than any other enemy does. Alright, so we'll get those, and I'll actually walk out of here to get, to be able to keep that money, instead of resetting, like I was thinking about doing. Alright. We can head over to Oasis Cave now. Can I defeat these? Seems like the answer is no. Okay. That's unfortunate. Those are weak to 2 weapons, but they appear to be the 2 weapons I don't have. Enemy weaknesses are randomized, so there's not really a way to know other than just try to do it. Alright, so if this fails... Could be that going into Goa is the answer. I am going to be warping from here to Joel, I think. To buy more warp boots. Come on. Stand still. Recover. Well, it's certainly nice to have, but it's not progress. That is a spell that will let you remove status effects from yourself. Sorry, I misspoke when I said Joel. I meant Swan. I should go to Joel and get that warp point, but I don't have it yet. Alright. Let's sell this magic ring, and I think at this point I'm going to keep the Sacred Shield. Yeah. You can see it's worth quite a bit of money, but it's also my only defensive option right now, so I like having it. In a race situation, you would probably want to sell it, having found it this early. But I also got a lot of money off of that Mimic, so I was able to farm some there. Alright, I have a couple of options. Let's start by saving. And that way, if whatever option I take doesn't pan out, I can reload the save to preserve that pair of work boots. Now I'm going to check a specific hint here. If I go talk to the queen, or talk to the fortune teller, who's really the queen in disguise, the queen will return to her throne, and I can talk to her. And the fact that she said be careful means something important. It means I do not have the sword that Rage wants. Because if you have the sword that Rage wants, she has different text. And so it's nice to know that, because that means it saves me a trip walking all the way down to Rage, by just checking her text instead. Alright, this is Waterfall Cave. We can destroy the walls here, so we can get some items here. Okay. Warlocks are scary. Although I am immune to their main status effect, which is the Nooper Beam turns you into a slime. But thankfully, the Sacred Shield protects against that. We're going to use the statue glitch again here. This is why it's called the statue glitch, is because in the vanilla speedrun you use it to get past these statues. Turns out in the randomizer there's a handful of other places where it's useful to use that. I'm trying to keep up on money, but the the trick to the Oops All Mimics is anytime you want to open a chest, you have to kill a Mimic. Anytime you kill a Mimic, you get experience, which means you don't need to worry quite as much about level grinding, because you're just going to get a bunch of incidental experience along the way. That said, if you're only killing Mimics that have items in them, it means you're not getting any money out of them, and that's a problem. So I'm still trying to kill some other enemies for money more than anything else. Alright, that's the that's the right side of Waterfall Cave. You now need to go check the left side. I thought that enemy was going to be dead and just walked into it. Right, I have Recover. I should probably use Recover. Alright, let's just focus on getting the item now. So the reason I do the right side of Waterfall Cave first is because if you find the Flute of Lime in Waterfall Cave, you don't want to have to backtrack as much to go use it. And so I want to do the right side first. And then do this one that's next to the stoned Akahana. And of course, I didn't find it here, so I have to come back here later anyways. So let's go to Bryn Mawr next. Oh, sorry about that. I've been doing a lot of recording this weekend. And my throat is feeling it. But this is the last video to record, so should be good to get through this seed. We're gonna go check the slopes here, see if there's anything I can get here. First of all, I have the rabbit boots, so I can get up this little side slope to one check that's at the top of this slope. That's the vanilla intended way to get up there. You can also get up there with speed boots or flight. And it looks like I can break the walls here, so I can get 4 out of 5 checks. These shadows are going to be the death of me. They are completely immune to damage until you hit them with some level 3 charge shot, which requires having a bracelet, which I don't have. Alright, let's... Oh, I have recover. But let's get out of here. Yeah, this is not a good spot to be in. Let's actually just put on barrier. The rare non-boss usage of barrier. There we go. Blizzard bracelet. Well, that's... Okay, that's actually perfect. That means I can get all of the items on this mountain. Because, Tornell, at the top of this mountain, wants the Blizzard bracelet. So it's a good thing I did Waterfall Cave first, because I got the Orb of Water there. And the orbs and bracelets are progressive items, so you always find the orb first, and then the bracelet. Alright, we're gonna turn that off. I have just enough MP for one more use of recover, so let's try not to need to use it. You have to watch out for these. These pinkish red spiders are paralyzing spiders. Again, paralysis is the most threatening status effect here. Although I guess I can get poisoned instead. See, that's what I meant about you have to be careful about not to kill a mimic in a wall. Alright. I've got a magic ring. If I really need to, if I get paralyzed, I can pop the magic ring and have enough MP for a couple more... Or I can use the Fruit of Power. But I can have enough MP for a couple more uses of recover. Alright. The thing is, the automatic charging while walking, and especially the double speed charging of using the rabbit boots, means that killing enemies while just naturally going through places is pretty easy to do. So even though I don't need a bunch of extra experience, it's still not unwelcome. Okay, wait, I'm immune to that, but I have a problem. The collision damage is still gonna hurt real heckin' bad. So I'm switching back to no spell so I can jump over these warlocks. Warlocks are a miserable type of enemy that normally only appear in the very end game of the game. But here they can appear anywhere, and they suck. They also have like over 100 hit points and lots of defense, so fighting them is not really an option. They're only vulnerable to one element as well, so fighting them is really not an option. Yeah, 120 hit points you can see in the status bar there. Nice little quality of life addition from Vanilla. Anytime you hit an enemy, it'll display its current and max HP. Ooh, Sword of Thunder. That's nice. Well, it's a little funny that I have everything but... Fascinating. I have everything but the sword for the bracelet that I have. Let's use the inn here. Let's, once again, check in on the Queen, see if the Sword of Thunder is the one that Rage wants. Although there's not a ton I can do with it right now. Okay. Rage does, in fact, want the Sword of Thunder. So I could go way down there and get that checked, but that's kind of out of the way at the moment, and it doesn't do anything else. I would rather wait until I had the Sword of Water. But I can do this, turn in this love pendant. I'm gonna switch to the Sword of Thunder, because it has this three-way attack, and very carefully get myself in there. And then get shoved out of the room, which means I have to restart that. That is the thing that can happen in these tight spaces sometimes. There we go. Root of Power. Alright. I think that really only realistically leaves me with one option. And I don't particularly care for that option, but I don't think I have any others. Actually, no. I do have one other, and I am going to check it before I take the painful option. So the painful option I'm referring to is heading into Goa with 3 level 1 swords, which is really not ideal. First of all, if you have to fight any of the bosses with those level 1 swords, you're not going to have a good time. Second of all, it's really easy to get stuck by that 4th sword as you're going through Goa, and you would prefer not to have to double dip Goa. That said, I think I have exhausted all of my other checks, and Sword of Water would actually open up a lot of stuff, but... no such luck. I did at least get an orb there, so that's nice. Let's warp to Goa, and... yeah, we're heading into Goa Fortress here. So I'm gonna first head into this inn. There are guards blocking the inn and the item shop until you've been to Chiron, but we can use the statue glitch to get behind them and visit these 2 buildings anyway. Let's see. I'm going to buy 1 pair of warp boots. And then as many medical orbs as I can afford. Alright. And that 1 pair of warp boots is mostly for when I finish up here. Alright. So. We have... I got in. You need the Flail Guy trophy. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have an upside down Carmine's Floor to start with, which is good, because that means 5 free items, plus 2 more if I can beat the boss. Take off barrier so I can hop across these spikes. Medical herb. Sure, I will do that. the Mimic. Ooh, that Wraith was being very sneaky. I'll eat another medical herb. So far, nothing. 2 medical herbs and an actual Mimic. Ooh, Opal Statue is not nothing. Opal Statue is a free revive upon dying. Which is very nice to have, especially if I have to fight some of the harder bosses with a level 1 sword, like I'm a little bit concerned about right now. Iron Necklace, similarly going to be nice for some of those bosses if I have to fight them early. Alright. And speaking of bosses, this boss, however, is not a threatening boss, so I'm not worried about this fight. Especially with Barrier. So Carmine here goes in this fixed pattern around the room, always the same places in the same order, and will randomly stop while moving along that pattern to either shoot fireballs or shoot a Nooper Beam. The Nooper Beam is what we want to see more often because we're completely immune to it with the Sacred Shield. We don't have to even worry about it. There we go. I did spend all of my MP, but I have some magic rings. I'm gonna use my level 2 sword here, because it does damage faster. Hey, some actual armor is nice. Psycho armor is one of the better pieces of armor in the game. Okay, flight is huge. Psycho armor, one of the better pieces of armor in the game. Gives you a passive hit point regenerating effect while you're standing still. However, we just got flight. Excuse me. And flight opens up pretty much everything. It opens up quite a bit. Now, that said, being here in Goa, I'm going to try to go deeper in Goa. We'll see if we can get past this wall. Okay. Well, that answers that. That's actually the end of my adventures in Goa for now. So, with this, I would actually like to go visit Chiron now. So we're going to go visit Chiron. I am going to make a point of stepping over here and buying 2 pairs of work boots. You might notice that the warp boots are getting more and more expensive. That has to do with the difficulty level or scaling. As I have mentioned, at least in the other videos, if not in this one, every time you get a key item, that difficulty level goes up by 1. If you... that makes all the enemies harder, all the bosses harder, gives them more hit points, more damage, more defense, etc. But it also makes consumables cost more, it makes ins cost more, and it makes armors and shields cost less, because they tend to fall off as you get later in the game. Alright, we've made it to the town of Chiron. It means there's a couple of options available to us. We're going to come in here and we're going to get this item, which is a Dragon figurine. Which is one of the random unidentified statues. We know it's not the one that Slime Kensu wants in Goa, because that was a Flail Guy trophy, as we were told. I'm now going to head deeper into Mount Hydra. We'll see if we can get much done here. Light. So unfortunately, I have to do quite so much menuing here, but I'm trying to get past these flail guys while taking not too much damage. This Orb of Fire is really nice. As you can see, it's really good at pushing enemies around and making it so that you can hit enemies multiple times. Because of its very, very long line of effect. So, Mount Hydra has water walls. Oh, that one died a little too high up. It was too good at its job. Alright, wait here. Orb of Thunder. Orb of Thunder is also a nice sword upgrade, because that'll do a widespread pattern of like 8 or 9 shots. I forget exactly how many. But it's quite a bit. It covers almost 180 degrees in front of you. Which makes it a good option for when you don't want to worry about aiming. That said, I'm going to stick with this Orb of Fire right now. It's doing quite the excellent job at dealing with all these enemies. Okay, I have Recover. I'm going to remember that I have Recover. Recover. This guy really wanted to just paralyze me again. I'll take that money. I'm not going to bother trying to deal with those spiders. And we're going to go all the way up the peak of Mount Hydra. Since we have Flight, we can get the last item here as well. Well, I still have this Recover equipped, so we'll just fire that off. Alright, so the big thing we're looking for at this point, honestly, is Sword of Water. I do also have 2 bows, which means I could make a Crypt Dive. And honestly, I think Sahara and Pyramid is where I want to be heading next anyways, so I think there's a potential Crypt Dive in my future, which should be fun. That was just the Mimic. We're going to teleport back to Goa. Check some things off. Here... I can now more easily buy more Warp Boots. Actually, yeah, I'm going to use one of these Medical Herbs and buy a 3rd pair of Warp Boots. So, I am not going to check out Oasis Cave at the moment. I'm going to save that for in a moment. After I do Pyramid and the attempted Crypt Dive, I will be heading into Oasis Cave, clear out Oasis Cave, and then enter Goa from the back entrance and see what I can get done there. So here's the town of Sahara. We're just passing through. And here's the Pyramid. Pyramid is 3 pretty quick checks, and a required boss. Again, like I mentioned in the intro, story mode is on For the sake of submitting to a marathon, I think it's better to have story mode on, because having that as a mystery flag tends to have a more volatile range of completion times for these seeds. And for scheduling purposes, it's probably just better to have a more reliable output there. Alright. The other two chests are... or, the other two checks are locked by the boss. Which is right here. This is Dragon 1. Dragon 1 is kind of a pushover because Dragon 1 has no iframes. So if you have any sort of attack that can abuse that, you can just shred his health. Like so. Alright, I am obligated to pick this chest up because the boss does not count as defeated until the chest has been picked up. We got a harmonica for our troubles. I don't know if that's the alarm flute or one of the other various kinds of flute. At the moment, I'm not particularly interested in checking. We're gonna go make this crypt dive. So, what do I mean by crypt dive? There are two items in the crypt, but they are behind these two statues. And to get past these two statues, you need to have the Bow of Sun and Bow of Moon. To actually beat the game, you will need all three bows, which includes the Bow of Truth. And the thing is, with unidentified bows, I had two of the three bows. I was not guaranteed to be able to get back here. But that said, it kind of felt like the logic was pointing me this way, because I got both of those bows fairly early on. So, I'm not terribly surprised that this is a successful crypt dive, and I can get the two items. Alright. I want to start trying to save these magic rings. You want a couple for the end game. Because it's just nice to have a couple of magic rings in tower. Because you tend to use some sort of level 3 bracelet in the tower. And those all cost MP. You'll notice me doing these kind of weird hops with flight over these spikes. If you do it right, you can get through them without taking damage from the spikes or using your MP. That said, it does make it harder to maneuver and will sometimes let you walk into enemies while you're trying to avoid spike damage. Alright. Well, this was a bit of a bust. Both of the items here were junk. We are going back to, let's say, Goa. And we're going to go back in the back entrance of Goa. Can you use the inn here? Going to buy a medical herb. I believe that's all the room I have in my inventory. And I'm heading into Goa from the back entrance. We're gonna go check also the items in Oasis Cave. I did one check down here earlier. There's several more that I can get. We're gonna get this first one, and then I'm going to make a checkpoint. Psycho Shield. I would like to keep that. And the reason we make this checkpoint is because if the other two items back here are junk, I can just reset the game and load back from that checkpoint, and I don't have to walk all the way back. So it saves a little bit of time. Alright, money qualifies as junk here. And the other thing that could qualify as junk here is not being able to break the wall because I need Sword of Water. Because there's a wall back here. I can break it. That is not junk. We are going to keep that one, because I have the potential for some tricky boss fights ahead with, you know, level 1 swords and not super great fighting tools. So I'm actually going to walk out of here with that second opal statue. Alright, let's find out which floor. Actually, let's not forget, there's a chest hiding out over here. Level 10. That one's just an actual mimic. Fly across some purple stuff. Long stretch of purple stuff. Alright, so immediately we have Sabera 2. Which is not great, because this could be a level 1 sword Sabera 2 fight. Okay, it's not. It's a level 2 sword. But that level 2 sword is fire. This shouldn't be too bad. I should probably put barrier on for this fight. Because most of her attacks are stopped by barrier. Now, the unfortunate part about Sabera being here is immediately after this boss fight, when I walk into the next room, there's another wall that has to be destroyed. And there's a decent chance... Well, no, there's a 25% chance that I will not be able to open up that wall either. And we'll therefore be stuck on both sides until I get the Sword of Water. Sabera 2 down. Now to deal with her Mimic. As I've mentioned plenty of times already, I am obligated to pick that up. So, just note that this is Sabera's floor. Alright, and I can get through that wall, which means I can continue on with my adventure here. Which is good. Come down here. There are 3 chests on this floor. One of them is locked behind a wall that I may or may not be able to open. Fruit of Power is not something I need. So we're gonna just leave that one there. Run around here. Oh. Well. This is funny. If this had been a seed with story mode off, I would be able to go beat the game right now. Because all I need is 3 bows and flight. That said, we've got some bosses we still need to kill, but it's good to know that all that's really left is bosses. And a sword. I do need the 4th sword. So it's definitely worth continuing to pick up items. Especially if one of the bosses I need to kill ends up being weak to that sword. Plus there's any number of key items that could block the path to that 4th sword. I think once I get that 4th sword, I'm basically set. So I can't get through that wall, but I shouldn't need to come back here, because again, once I have the 4th sword, I'm pretty much done. We're really hoping that I can just defeat the 2 bosses here without having to make another trip. And personally, I'm also hoping to... I wouldn't mind a few more combat upgrades before I get to the end of the game, but if I need to beat the game with this loadout, I can beat the game with this loadout. Ooh. This is why you don't fly into chests. You get kind of stuck in this loop. I'm not stuck forever, but it really wants me to know that there's an antidote in that chest. That'll happen sometimes. Alright, there's one more chest to get on Motto's floor. On the way to the boss. It's this one right over here. Alright, it's just money. Oh, right, I have Psycho Shield now. That means I'm immune to paralysis. That's good. Not that it would matter too much if I got paralyzed at this point. Because the boss arena I'm about to walk into is a checkpoint. So I don't need to worry too much. Alright, this is Motto 2. Generally agreed upon to be the hardest boss in the game. I can't tell if these are connecting or not. Okay. That one I could clearly tell connected. Okay, I'm gonna actually reset this fight now that I know what weapon he's weak to. And, this is not gonna be an easy fight, because I have a level 1 sword. But this is why I want these 2 opal statues, because goodness am I gonna need them here. I'm also gonna use this iron necklace, which increases your defense against physical contact. Which is the main danger in this fight, because, as you can see, Motto just likes to bounce around very erratically. So, it's going to be a little bit of a war of attrition here. But I think it's a war of attrition I can win. Oh, there goes one of my 2 opal statues. That's fine. As you progress in this boss fight, he'll stop and fire shurikens more often. But I tend to find that makes them actually a little easier because you can get more hits in. There we go. Trying to do the quick change to a different sword. Hey, refresh. That's your healing spell. That is fantastic. Alright, and this last floor is going to be Kelbesk's floor. Thankfully, we are put directly at the boss. No? Okay, good. Good, I don't have to come back here. Because I can just defeat this boss. Thankfully, this boss is not particularly difficult. In fact, I'm gonna switch back to these rabbit boots. Just get these charge shots going more quickly. There we go. That's another boss down. It's a Barra figurine. Alright. So, that is all of these bosses done. All done. We can go somewhere else now. The only items I left behind are either Slime Kensu or items behind walls that need the Sword of Water, which I don't care about because the only item I care about now is the Sword of Water itself. Let's go to Portoa, I think. I want to get some hint, if I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have a flute. I'm going to go see if that flute is the what's it called? Flute of Lime. My plan is to make this play and then make a play for the answering machine and then do ESI. Alright. So, it is not the Flute of Lime. I don't actually know that it's not the Alarm Flute. But I don't particularly want to check it at the moment, because it would be somewhat tedious to check, and I still have a bunch of things open to me at the moment. Oh, right. I'm flying across this gap. I already got Rage's item, I just need to come back down here. Okay, I have to be careful. I need to remember that Portoa does not have warp boots for sale. Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. I don't remember if Joel has warp boots for sale, which is the thing that I'm considering right now. Because if I... So, I'm not going to want to walk out of Carissa Plant Cave here. If I warp to Portoa... Maybe... I think I just warped to Swan? I'm trying to consider my options here. We'll see if it makes it irrelevant by giving me teleport. Ooh, Storm Bracelet is nice. Storm Bracelet is an ideal tool for the end of the game. It does mean I'm going to want more MP, so I'm going to really try to hold on to magic rings from here on out. So yeah, I do need to pick up one more level at some point. Level 12 is usually the sweet spot for beating the game. And we are getting pretty close to beating the game. Alright. Fruit of Power. Alright. Let's teleport to Swan. I still haven't actually picked up the Joel Warp Point. So, I got this cave done. Gonna buy a couple pairs of warp boots, because I'm still gonna need them. Teleport is well and truly buried. What I still need to do... Okay, so we're doing ESI here, or we're attempting to. And then we need to go do Mount Saber North, because that also has one of our required bosses. In fact, I need to get all of the level 1 bosses still, so... Let's see, I have 2 statues here. Let's see if either of them clears up these whirlpools. Okay, that one doesn't. That one does. This is... Orb of Wind, very nice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna remember to actually go get this Joel Warp Point now. Literally just going there to get the Warp Point for later. Alright, let's find out if we can do Evil Spirit Island. That is the cave that is found here. We can pretty quickly chew through these jellyfish for a little bit of experience. Alright. And I've got flight on, so it won't take me long to get through here if I can break the walls. There is a 75% chance that I will not be able to break the walls, in which case, I'm just not going to care about the items here. But I can break the walls, so let's find out about the items. Magic ring, like I said, I need to start collecting those, so give it to me. Especially if it turns out that I need to use Storm Bracelet for the tower. Storm Bracelet is very powerful. It's a full screen attack, but it uses 40 MP. And usually you need, like, 3 or 4 of them per floor of the tower. And that makes it very MP intensive to actually get through the tower that way. So it's something you just have to watch out for. Blurb. You know what? I don't need that. There's level 12. Mirrored Shield is not helpful. Really, all I'm looking for at this point are... okay, there are 2 things that I'm looking for. Power Ring, Sword of Water, and anything that leads me to Sword of Water. And the Power Ring was just a, it would be nice to have this. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that doesn't work. Well, I got slimed. Let's put the Sacred Shield on. I'm gonna see if I can make it to the other doorway. Because this status effect goes away when you screen transition. So if I can just ooze my way down this hallway. Oop. Ow, ow. Uh-huh, okay, we're fine. We're thriving. Everything's fine. Alright. I gotta go back for an item that I wouldn't have been able to get as a slime, but... we made it. Alright, the item is just a mimic. Evil Spirit Island is done. That was... Thunder Walls, by the way. Crystal Plant was Water Walls. I still haven't checked Mount Saber North or the other place. Fog Lamp Cave. The good news is I can basically write off any place that has Sword of Water locked walls, because that'll be my go mode item, and once I have it, I don't need to do any more checks, really. Other than maybe easy to get to ones. Why? Oh. Why did I unequip flight? Must have tried to put recover on and forgot to put flight back on afterwards. Let's actually fly across the pit this time. Battle armor. Not bad. A little bit redundant with the Psycho armor that I've already picked up. Speaking of, I want to have the Psycho shield on. Alright, here's Vampire. Should be pretty easy. Not even gonna bother using Storm Bracelet on him. Alright, phase 2 of the boss fight is the Mimic. Fruit of Weapon. I should pick that up so that the Vampire doesn't respawn. But I don't really need or want it. I'm going to immediately drop it. There's an item over here off the side. I get a theremin. Alright. Maybe that is my relevant flute. Alright, Sabera 1. Oh, I accidentally fired off a level 3 charge shot there. Did not mean to. That is the one downside to the rabbit boots, is you charge so quickly. Alright, well, let's stick barrier on, and doing 15 points of damage a hit. Not too bad. I'm just kind of glad that I'm able to damage her at all, and that she's not weak to water. Because that means I don't have to make another trip through here later on. Woo. Okay. Please stop orbiting me. Please stop. There we go. Change. Change is good. I sound like an inspirational poster. But no, the spell change is good, because that unlocks several checks. There are a couple hints you can get here in Zombie Town once you've defeated Sabera, but I don't need any of them, because they would tell me about the golden statue identification and the glowing lamp identification, and both of those I already know the answers to. Alright, I need to go to... I have a couple of options here. I'd like to go to Oak, I think, first. Unfortunately, I still can't easily use the inn here. I am allowed to use the inn, though. I just have to do a little bit of mashing first. And basically, I want to, while I'm here... buy a couple more pairs of warp boots. I'm going to test the flutes that I have, because I have two flutes that I don't know what they do. I know one of them is not the Flute of Lime, and I don't know anything about the other one. So I'm going to test them against the insect flute. So bassoon is the shell flute. Harmonica is the insect flute. That means this last flute could still be the Flute of Lime, because I got it. It's the one that I haven't tested at all. Okay. Ooh, that is a good payoff. That is teleport. Wait. That's the wrong things to have checked off. Alright. So, let's walk out of here, because the place I'm going next is Mount Saber North. Hey, that actually saves me a somewhat annoying walk once I get to Cordell Plains. So... There's a trick called, glitch called Mount Saber Requirements Skip, or Rabbit Skip. Step 1 of it is there's normally a barrier, a trigger up here that pushes you away if you don't have teleport. Now, I just found teleport, so I don't have to worry about that part. But you can also use flight to do some shenanigans by skipping over some loading triggers to get around that. The second part is, you just saw me breeze right by it, but it is a check there to find out if you, like, trigger the leaf kidnapping and then talk to the rabbit, which you normally need telepathy for. but there's actually a gap for the triggers, so you can just kind of walk right past if you position yourself carefully. And here I'm flying up to the top of the slope to skip straight to the boss, which I cannot defeat. Alright, so we have a bit of a problem here. I am going to go check the caves now. Let's see if I can get the items in the caves. I can get these items at least. Alright. Unidentified key. That could be the key to prison, could be the key to Stixie. We'll test that out in a little bit. For now, we're gonna just keep going through here. There's one more item I can get. Actually, no, there are two more items that I can get here. I need to remember to get the one from the prison cells. So the fastest way to do this is actually to go up the mountain normally until you get to the second check, and then teleport from there back to Nadare's, and then double back. Fly up the slope. Tornado bracelet. Okay. Let's, as mentioned, teleport back to Nadare's. And I just saw that I still have the cast mask equipped, which I would rather have these rabbit boots on. Well, I have all the tools in the world that I could want for tower, except power ring. Power ring would be nice still. Alright. Telepathy. Okay. So that is everything here. Let's go do the Motto 1 fight, because I haven't done that yet. Oh, I haven't even triggered the massacre yet. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to change my plans then, slightly. I'm going to come here first. I forgot that the first time I went in the front entrance of Goa, I didn't have the Sword of Thunder. Alright. Oh, I can drop these to make room in my inventory. Re-equip flight. Head over here. Lysis plant from you, which is not particularly useful. It's a consumable that cures paralysis, which I am immune to, thanks to the shield that I have. Antidote, also not particularly useful. The thing that I want to actually do here is come over here. I want to test this key that I have before I walk all the way up to Mount Hydra to the Stixie entrance. And it's a good thing I did too. So this is the key to prison, which doesn't actually matter, can't matter, because it doesn't give me anything until I beat Kilbesk 1, and Kilbesk 1 needs the Sword of Water. That is my Go Mode item. I've been on the hunt for the Sword of Water for a while now, unfortunately, but we are going to go do the Motto 1 fight. First, I need to trigger it by walking up here with the Sword of Thunder. And that lets me now teleport to Chiron. where the fight will have been triggered. Unfortunately, everyone in Chiron is dead, but we can avenge them. Hopefully. Maybe. No, we cannot avenge them. Alright, so once I get the Sword of Water, I have 2 bosses I need to go clean up. So that's unfortunate. The good news is those are now more checks that can't be blocking the Sword of Water. Let's go to Sahara. I'm just going to start popping around and doing a bunch of one-off quick checks. Like this one. Eyeglasses, sure. Yeah, let's do that. Head to Joel. Let's find out if this flute that I've got kicking around is the alarm flute or the other flute, the flute of lime. Eyeglasses first. Alright. Theremin. Okay. So this is definitely the other flute, the flute of lime. Pop into the inn real quick. We're gonna go chase down these flute of lime checks. In particular, curing the statue people here in Portoa. Let's make a checkpoint, because if this is garbage, I can just reset out of it and go straight into Foglamp Cave. Saving these 2 statue people blocking the doorway over here will give you a hint as to the best items you can find in the Carissa Plant and Foglamp Caves. And I haven't done Foglamp Caves yet, so if they tell me, hey, the Sword of Water's over there, I know where I need to go. Storm Bracelet. I have already found that Storm Bracelet. Must have been in the Carissa Plant Cave. Now that could be disguising, the way the hint works, that could be disguising a trade-in item early in Foglamp Cave. There's a whole priority system that I don't have time to get into at the moment. But we'll get this check, which is a shield ring. I'm actually going to reset out of that. I don't particularly need that for the rest of this game, so... The good news about the way that priority hint system works is I can guarantee that I at least don't have to do the last check in Foglamp Cave. So I can do the 3 in the front that are relatively quick, and then just leave. And consider myself done. After this, Oak, then Amazonas. I am running out of things to do, so we should be hitting go mode here any minute now. The seed has turned out to be a bit longer than I would normally expect from these flags, which is unfortunate. Alright, so this chest. Let's make sure I have my anti-paralysis shield on. I do. Alright, that's just money, so I can be done here. Let's go to Oak first and rescue a small child. First, because I have telepathy, I can come here, talk to you. Need to remember to put the hazmat suit back on. Alright, we'll teleport back to Oak. And then we'll do a reset just to get through that animation faster. Because otherwise this is full animation of the child walking up to his house. Alright. Do not need this fruit of repon or this fruit of lime. I am going to, real quick, before I go chase down that, that key to Stixie that I definitely just picked up, I'm going to actually visit Amazonas and turn in the things here, because this is 2 pretty quick checks. Use change. You want this Dragon figurine. Ah, there's my Sword of Water. Okay, we're in go mode. Oops, and now I'm getting thrown out because the animation dropped my change spell. It's always funny when that happens. Alright, so let's kill some bosses and not worry about the rest of the stuff. Alright, I need Sword of Fire to get through the wall here. If I recall correctly. And then I need Sword of Water to fight the boss. Thankfully, this Blizzard Bracelet will mean this boss will be a piece of cake. There we go. Alright. Go ahead and pick up this freebie item. Hey, speed boots. Alright. At least I can run through the rest of this relatively quickly. I need to actually go use an inn before I do this next fight, so we're going to teleport to Goa. We're going to go from here to Chiron. Unfortunately, I never did find that power ring, which would have been nice to have. Please don't stand in the corner. I need you to actually get hit by these snowflakes, if you would be so kind. There we go. The true secret to the Moto 1 boss fight is this Mimic is always a colossal pain. Warp boots! I don't need those. Alright. I've beaten my 2 bosses that I still had left. You know what? I'm gonna make one very quick check to see if it's Power Ring. And then I will give up after this. Because I am running long here, but this will be just a moment. Overswarm statue. Nope. That is the broken statue. I don't have the lamp to go with it, so it's kind of useless to me, unfortunately. Doing the tower here without Power Ring is going to be a little bit of a pain, but it is doable. And it's certainly not worth the time it would take me to run around the world to actually find the dang Power Ring. So, yeah. The fact that the seed has lasted over an hour and a half at this point is, I would say, an outlier for these seeds. Although that's partially because I did turn on all the mystery flags that do add up to making the seed take longer. And I found speed boots very late in the seed. We can obviously fine-tune the flag set to better fit the slot in the marathon, should this be accepted. Alright, just rushing straight to the end. So, I actually want Sword of Thunder. I want the Sacred Shield. I want this Bow of Freedom. I want Barrier, and I guess I want Rabbit Boots. Yeah. I want Rabbit Boots. Alright, we're gonna tink off of the wings there to manipulate him to get him to use the attack we actually want him to use more often. Gotta wait for the first storm to finish before I can fire off the next storm. It's probably gonna take another storm, maybe two, to actually defeat the boss, because I don't have Power Ring. I don't have enough MP for another full storm, but that Tornado Bracelet did the job. Alright. We're gonna leave the Rabbit Boots on as we go through Tower here. As with the other seeds I have, other categories I've submitted, this includes the max scaling in Tower flag, so all the enemies here are at the max difficulty level, regardless of how many key items I've actually found. I need you to stop hiding in... Let's leave those alone for now and come over here and get these. Stop running away, please. The tower is, as always, the same. It is 3 floors of gold robots, then white robots. Defeat all of the gold robots, spawn the white robots. Defeat all the white robots to unlock the next floor. Rinse and repeat. I need to make sure not to die. Alright, I'm using my opal statue to make sure not to die. Because I will have a free Dynafight at the end. Yeah, this is taking way more tornadoes than it should because I don't have Power Ring, but what are you gonna do? That's randomizers for you. Sometimes you don't get all the tools that you want, and you have to do a slightly slower tower. Part of the reason I'm using Tornado Bracelet here is because it is much more efficient on the MP, and with the necessity of using more of these level 3 charged attacks, conserving MP is a bit of a concern at the moment. Even though I have 4 magic rings. Alright, there goes the opal. I now need to make sure to watch my health. I have refresh, so I can use that. Alright, let's use a magic ring here. Alright, we're gonna just push them all this way. There we go. That's floor 2 down. Floor 3 is more of the same. Gold robots, then white robots. Oh. Didn't mean to shoot that upwards. Okay, I do need to not die, so let's equip refresh for a little bit and spend some MP on that. Alright, we've got the white robots spawn. I'm going to go all the way to the right and push them to the left towards where the staircase is going to appear using the tornado bracelet. The tornado bracelet is actually slightly buffed in this version, in the randomizer, by making it go slower. Turns out, makes it very good at pushing enemies and hitting them multiple times. Just a little funny that the slower projectile speed ends up being a buff in this case. But as you can see, it's very effective at pushing enemies across the room. Alright. Let's heal up. Let's fire off this last magic ring. Actually, let's not even fire off the last magic ring. Let's save it for boss fight. None of these tools are going to be relevant for the boss fight, so I'm going to just put on speed boots and go quickly. Compared to my other two submission videos, this is going to be an easy Dyna, because I actually have barrier. So even though I don't have power ring, it'll take me more hits to defeat the final boss, but I will not be in any danger while doing so. So I can just stand right here, run barrier the entire time, and mash. I don't fully mash because adding more shots to the screen introduces lag. So it's better to wait until the boss actually opens their weak point. But there you go. Never in any danger. Time is going to be on cut to black right about now. And there we go. Yeah, like I said, that is unusually long for this flag set. I would say this flag set usually goes an hour to an hour and a half. Partially, it is because I turned on... In terms of the 3 mystery flags that are normally in this flag set, I turned all of them onto the one that makes it take more time. We can fine-tune the flag set as appropriate. I think there was just also a little bit of unfortunate bad luck in needing to hunt down that sort of water, but these things happen. It's a randomizer. We can certainly have someone vet the seed to make sure it will fit within the time allotted, should this be accepted into the marathon. I am going to skip the credits here to get to the stat screen at the end. This is a stat screen. It's very nice for if you're racing against someone and want to compare the order in which you got the major items and at what times you did so. It's the 4 swords, the 3 bows, and all the major bosses and flight show up on this. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for taking the time to consider this submission. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.